Hello, everyone, and thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of Sophisticated Sunday. I'm going to be your reader for today, Negzo, and I just want to let you all know that I got that outside dick that make them hoes sick, and this is my co-host, Osun Funke.
And I'm not to be fucked with.
And my co-host, Peach Blossom.
God's favorite fruit.
All right, so we're going to be talking to you all to basically explain this point to you all. We're not fucking psychics. We're priests.
Basically.
And priestesses. We're not fucking psychics. And I know that to someone that is, that's, you got a little milk behind your ears, you don't know what we're talking about. And I wanted to just start off with this question. Why is it that we call our readings psychic readings if we're not psychic readers?
Well, because we have to appeal to the masses. A lot of people don't understand that there are different types of readings. And so that's really why we do it.
So why are we even... So appealing to the masses, when we have to think about Black Spectrum Network, I had to call it psychic readings because this is a black company in a white capitalist society. And white people dominate, and they have the means of production to control the definitions around
Absolutely.
What is considered to be appropriate and inappropriate spirituality.
Right.
So here it is in the U.S. We don't know what a Worry Life Path reading is. We don't know what a Orisha is, a Loa. We know, but the average person doesn't know. But you know what a psychic reading is. So I appropriated the term psychic reading, because I learned appropriation from Europeans. And I was like, this is a brilliant entrepreneurial tactic. I thought that titling the sorts of work that we do as a psychic reading would help to attract people to us, because a lot of African Americans don't know the difference between a psychic and a priestess. They think that we're all the same. Even our clients have those same expectations of us, that we're psychics.
And we're not.
We're not. In fact, I used to preface my readings. I don't really need to as much anymore, but I used to actually preface my readings and tell them, I am not a psychic. I would actually have to say that. I'm not a psychic. This reading is probably going to produce information that you already know. It's going to confirm things that you know, that you may be acting like you don't know or wish that you didn't know.
Right.
It's very rare that I do a reading for someone and they have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about.
Right.
And when that appears to be the case, I find with a little bit of digging and a little bit of honesty, they always know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they always know. And with my readings, with tarot, a lot of people think that tarot or readings, and you guys have talked about this on a Sophisticated Sunday, is magical. And it is not. Tarot is more for guidance. And even you guys' readings are more for guidance of what is going on right now. I can dig through and get to the bottom of whatever situation that you might be going through, but I'm not psychic.
And a lot of times our clients are going to call us concerned with short-term problems.
Right.
Very short-term problems.
Yeah.
And they don't leave dissatisfied when they get a reading from us because we didn't answer their short-term problems. Rather, their mind has expanded to where they're like, well, damn, I was asking the wrong questions, concerned about the wrong thing. Because usually, a client may call you and ask about an estranged significant other, and the reading is like, well, this is the situation, and explains it away in 2 or 3 minutes. But then they're like, but we want you to get to these other problems, or here's this other partner that you may not be looking at, or these other opportunities that may not be relevant to you. Because typically what the client is going to focus on is usually not even what the spirits want to even talk about.
Oh, God. They almost never want to talk about what you want to talk about.
Yeah, that's true.
They're like, hey, that guy that's in your bed right now, we don't like him. And you're like, but I'm calling about my job. Okay, that's cute, sweetheart, but your ancestors don't like the guy that you're dealing with, or they think that your friend is holding you back and is creating blockages or whatever. And they'll leave just outdone. And a lot of times the question that they ask, after I do the first question, I pretty much answered all of the questions that they had prepared. And so then we have to dig in deep to get to the actual problem that your ancestors really want to talk about. And 9 times out of 10, the problem that your ancestors want to talk about is going to help you not only in the area that you called me about, but in multiple areas of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what I've come to learn from my experiences trying to explain to people what it is that we do. My African American clients are always overwhelmed with joy in finding out like that the services we offer are much deeper than offering short-term solutions. Now, my clients that are not African American tend to be very disappointed in general and don't maybe not even care about their life purpose and destiny and ancestors and so on and so forth. But I wanted to ask you all, what's the difference between a priestess and a psychic?
Everything.
Okay.
First of all, they're spelled completely different.
It's very true. Very true.
So we all have psychic abilities, okay? We all have a certain amount of psychic ability.
Mm-hmm.
The more that you pray, the more that you meditate, the more that you are in communication with spirit, the more insight you will have on future events. The more insight that you will have on individuals that you come into contact with, the more insight that you will have, period. And so a psychic is a person who receives information or who can look into the future. I think that's the pretty common definition of what a psychic is. I think that as priests and priestesses, yes, we do have those abilities. I'm extremely intuitive. I do have claircognizance. I know things. I'm extremely empathetic. I can walk into a room and know the story of people in that room without having to ask, without wanting to know, without even being interested in that information. It just falls into my consciousness. So I guess I could call myself a psychic because I am one who has psychic abilities. But I think psychic just references a person's gifts or abilities. A priest or a priestess that's a vocation. It's a chosen, and when I say chosen, I don't necessarily mean the life that I chose.
You were chosen.
I was chosen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a chosen lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
One becomes a priest through initiation, through training. Priests take certain vows. They make promises. They form relationships with spirit, with deities. There's a huge amount of...
Hello, everyone, and thank you all for tuning in to Black Spectrum Network, where we gave mercy to these hoes, because that's what Jesus would do.
And where we shake the table in this bitch.
If you're being fucked with, we got the smoke.
With that being said, you can get your wig snatched by going to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com.
Sacrifice that goes into being a priest or a priestess, and priests and priestesses, they work for people on behalf of the Loa, on behalf of the Orisha, on behalf of the Most High God.
I would say the difference is when you talk to me, yes, we can talk about the short-term questions that you have, but I'm also going to give you a solution. I'm also going to prescribe you, if you need it, some medicine. And medicine could be a spiritual bath. Medicine could be an oil. Medicine could be a prayer and meditation regimen. Medicine could be any of those things. That is duties of a priestess, especially one that is trying to give you a solution or heal you from what your ancestors want you to be healed from. A psychic is not going to do that. I don't even want to focus on psychics. I know that's the topic, but it's important to know that you are not going to call a call center, okay, with just random people who claim to be psychic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You're going to call and you're going to talk to us and let's get a deeper understanding. A psychic is just going to answer your questions. Hey, what does my week look like this coming up week? Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? But a priestess is actually going to dig deeper and get to the root of whatever is causing chaos or confusion in your life.
Dis-ease.
Yes.
A lot of our readings don't even allow you guys to ask questions. So
Really
if
don't.
you're familiar with our readings, we tell you what you need to know, not what you want to know, not what you like to hear. It's about what you need, because this is healing that we're doing.
Yeah, so I mean, we're not fucking fortune tellers. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the, you know,
no.
I mean, the most simple way to put it is like a psychic is a fortune teller, a priest is a life coach,
Yeah.
and those are the two
Very
differences.
That's really good.
A fortune teller, because I used to do these blog talk radio readings with a psychic, and I remember this one client called in for a live reading, and they asked, "Where am I gonna find my next apartment?" And the co-host said, "I'm not a fortune teller. Did you come up with the list of apartments that you want me to tell you about the consequences of you moving there?" And I was just like, I'm glad you articulated, and this was like years ago. So I was like, I'm glad you articulated it that way, because a lot of the times people think that they can come to us expecting us to do their homework. It's like, well, you know, the universe assigned me some homework. I'm going to bring it to you, and I want you to do the homework for me. I didn't do any studying, but I want you to just give me the answer. And so I think you all have had these sorts of issues where a client is asking you a very specific question. And the spirits will say, like, something like, you know, am I supposed to stay with this person? And the spirits are like, well, if you stay with this person, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then they'll say to you, I'm just so confused. Should I stay with them or should I not? I mean, is this going to be good for me? And then the spirits will tell them, this is what you can expect. You're going to get what you deserve. But should I be with them or not? Is this my soulmate? We're not fortune tellers.
And we're not here to tell you that. And a lot of times when people ask these questions, you know, it's the same thing. That's up to you. You make the choice. I'm just here to tell you what happens if you make that choice.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just here to tell you, okay, well, this is the consequences of you making that choice. And consequences are not bad always. They're good consequences and bad consequences. So, but no, we're not here to make that choice for you, and your ancestors are not here to make that choice for you.
The other thing that I want to say to strongly emphasize is that the difference between a psychic and a priestess is the apprenticeship. Apprenticeship is, you can assume that a priest or a priestess went through an apprenticeship. With the psychic, you don't know who taught them. Anybody can qualify to be a psychic. It's the equivalent of saying that, you know, here in the U.S., anybody can be a life coach, but not everyone can be a therapist. The therapist implies that you have been supervised, educated, and supervised, educated by, and learned under someone that is an expert versus someone that is a life coach, and you just put on that title because you feel, and you may be called to do it, but that's a more arbitrary determination. That being said, one of the product of coming to of an African person practicing African spirituality as a priest or a priestess is that they are authorized to work with an entity that will stop and give them attention or pay attention to them when they have initiated, versus a psychic whom is an intermediary between you and the universe, but they can't speak to every manifestation of the universe or every deity that has patronage over a certain area. So you can expect the advice from that, the reading that you get from that psychic is from that psychic's ego, will, and willpower. The advice that you get from a priest or a priestess, if they are trained well, will come directly from spirit.
Yeah.
Which is why we can't tell you what you should do. We can only tell you the consequences of what it is that you're doing, because it's not about right or wrong. It's about, as you've said about Ifa, are you on your path or not? Bonjour, I'm Pastor Dr. Quintari Shakir, otherwise known as Negrezo. If you can't get enough of our content for as little as $2 a month, you can get these and other videos at least 1 week ahead of their YouTube release date. That's www.patreon.com/Black Spectrum Network. Is this going to put you on your path, or is this going to take you off your path? And you make that decision for yourself. Because if I told you that you I told you that you're supposed to be with this person, you have to do this, it takes away your free will.
Yeah,
it does.
It does.
Which is the whole point of this experience that we call life, which is also the definition, I believe, of black magic. When one practices black magic, it impairs another person's free will. It exerts authority over another person's free will, which is very dark when you consider the point of us being here is to make decisions and to create a life that is a result of those decisions, literally from moment to moment. The other thing I wanted to say to your point that you made, Nexo, is that in Ifa, there's a parable that says that the big cat will never see the fat rat as long as the fat rat is on his path. So that means that if you are on your path, if the fat rat is on his path, he can literally walk in front of the big cat, and the big cat won't see him. Perhaps that cat will be distracted by something else. Perhaps that cat will be looking down at that precise moment. But as long as you are on your path, you will be protected. And that's the point of the readings that I do. As a priestess, is to make sure that you're on your path, that you are divinely aligned with you're divinely aligned with your destiny. And see, the destiny is another thing that hangs people up, okay? A psychic can't speak to your destiny. A psychic is going to tell you what they think is going to happen based on clues that their intuition gives them, okay? A priest or a priestess is actually, because our communication is informed by spirit. In my case, it would be the spirits of Ifa, which would include the Orisha, and also my ancestors. I am able to give you a broader view because spirit sees more than we do. If you think about it in terms of spirit being above us, then they have a bird's eye view of what's happening around us. They see the things that you don't. They're aware of interactions and transactions happening on the fringes of your consciousness. And they're able to tell you what's likely to happen if you continue on your course. A psychic is going to base the information that they share with you based on their feelings, based on what their intuition is telling them, based on what they sense. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I'm giving a reading, I'm not telling you, it's not what I think, it's not what I see, it's what I'm being told. You understand? Which a lot of times is why you guys, if you've had several readings with me, you'll call and be like, you remember last time you told me? And I'll be like, no, I don't. Because it doesn't form a wrinkle. That information, it doesn't form a wrinkle in my brain is what I'm saying. That information is not for me. I'm speaking the words, but I'm not thinking the thoughts. Right. I'm telling you what I'm hearing. I'm telling you what I'm seeing on this board at this moment. And when we're done, I'm done. It's not about my feelings.
Right. You have to take your feelings out of it. You have to take ego out of it. A lot of times when I'm doing readings, it doesn't make sense to me, but it's not supposed to make sense to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is your life. I'm not going to put my opinion on it. I could think the situation that you're talking about is dumb as hell. And sometimes I have thought it was dumb as hell, but it didn't matter. It was the message that your ancestors were speaking to me about. And I'm just translating and giving it to you. So a psychic can and will use his or her own opinion about the situation to tell you what to do. And I don't trust it.
I was watching a video by someone on YouTube whom I'm quite fond of, S. Ali Myers. I don't know him, but I'm fond of his information. S. Ali Myers had a 6-minute video that explained the difference between fate and destiny. Your destiny is only but a destination. You have many different destinations. Okay, you have many different partners that you could be with. You have many different places that you could go. I could choose to do anything that I wanted. Astrologically, there's no designated career path that I'm supposed to work other than for me to use my spiritual gifts and my creativity to be a leader. I could do any work that I wanted to do. My fate is to die. Yes. Everybody's fate is to die.
That's your
why
fate.
that's why they say sometimes I give fatalistic readings. I don't give a fuck. But your fate is to die, but your destiny is but a destination, and you can have multiple different destinations. You can change the course. You can be in 2 destinations at once. They can overlap. That being said, a psychic has a psychic has more limitations on their ability to determine what your destiny is, because they are not in tune with
An omniscient source.
an omnipresent source.
Yeah.
And that those sources are typically governing your lives in ways that you don't understand. So there was somebody in the comments that asked about them dating. They're saying, "Hey, is it okay for is it okay if I date someone outside of my ancestry?" First of all, that's a dumbass question. It is dumb, and you asked, "Was it dumb?" And I'm going to let you know why it's dumb. Because Puerto Rican people have African ancestry. Let's begin there. So the other reason that's a dumb question is because we're not sitting here promoting. We're not telling you any goddamn thing about your relationships. But with that being said, book a private reading if you're wondering if your ancestors, because we are priests, we can a psychic is going to tell you date anybody that you want to. Because you got the free will to. We are going to try to figure out, does this person put you on your destiny, or do they not put you on their put you on your path or off of your path? But that being said, Puerto Rican people got African ancestry, and that was a dumb question.
That's a disappointing question. It's so disappointing.
Okay, so the next question that I'm going to ask is, what school did you all go to so that you can learn the work you all do? What school did y'all go to?
Whitehaven High. I'm just playing.
BAZ!
Woo!
BAZ!
Woo!
Well, out of respect for my private life, because I am a person and I do have a life and I'd like to keep it private, I am educated.
So fuel my fire, take me higher, I'll be your liar too. Cause when we're here, there's nothing better than the skyline.